Hi everyone, welcome back to Mediterranean. My name is Matt. Today I'm in the backyard. I'm going to be doing a quick review of this new hammock rainfly that I got from OneWind. Now, in the interest of transparency, OneWind did send me this tarp to review, but this is in no way a paid sponsorship. They're not paying me for the review itself, so this is going to be my honest feedback. Now, I've had the pleasure to take this tarp out on a trip a couple weeks ago. You can find a link to that here or there. Anyway, I was really impressed with its performance, so I'm going to be going over some of the features. So the material on the tarp itself is a 20D sil nylon ripstop, and that's coated with a 4,000 millimeter waterproofing. Now, what that actually means, I don't know. I know that it's held up in the rain for me. Now, something that's nice, they've gone ahead and already applied seam tape to all the seams. The dimensions are 12 foot by 9 foot and 7 inches. I have tons of room in here, and if I were to use the side tie-outs and guide them out, I'd have even more room. Really impressed with the amount of space. It weighs 1 pound, 12 ounces, or 794 grams, and it comes in either light gray, dark gray, or OD green. I went with OD green for mine. When the tarp arrives, it comes with 4 stakes, 6 suspension lines, 4 guy line adjusters, 4 carabiners, and 1 double-ended stuff sack. Now, while the 4 additional guy line tensioners were a great addition, I found that the built-in guy line adjusters work just great without slipping. Another feature I like about this tarp, they've already gone ahead and attached some shock cord to all the tie-outs, which is really nice because you never want to have your tie-outs too stiff because you're likely to trip over in the middle of the night, and without any kind of slack or give to them, you run the risk of ripping your tie-outs. Another cool little thing here on the bottom of the tie-outs is that when you have the leftover cordage, you can just roll it up, and with this little cord lock hook, you can cinch that down to keep everything nice and organized, reducing trip hazards. Now, my thinking when I got this hammock was that I needed a nice wintertime hammock with doors, especially some of the campouts lately. I got rained out and had a lot of splash up, so the doors would be a nice addition to be able to keep blowing rain or wind out, which will also help trap in some heat. But once I got it, I found out that it weighs slightly less than my current 11-foot hex tarp that I use for backpacking. So this is going to end up going in my pack during backpacking season. Now, is this tarp as light as a $400 Dyneema tarp? Absolutely not, but it's still going to work out great. It's going to be a great addition to my pack without breaking the bank or putting me into a position out in the backcountry where I'm going to have to worry about it failing, because honestly, I'm impressed with how well it's made. Something else that I'm really liking is the number of tie-outs all over the tarp. You have one at all the corners, the edges, and the ones in the middle, giving you tons of options to set up the hammock in a variety of ways. This will even be a nice tarp for those times where I can't find a place to hang my hammock and I have to go to ground. I'll still be able to set up a reasonable shelter with this tarp and some trekking poles. Now, the most basic configuration is for warm weather, and that's where you have the doors tied together on the outside. In situations with high wind, rain, or even the cold, that's whenever you can deploy the doors, simply by unattaching them and then attaching them back together on the sides at the bottom. Naturally, you could also set up this tarp into porch mode. Overall, I have to say I'm seriously impressed with this tarp. For the price, you can't beat the quality. There's something you have a hard time finding within the outdoor world. The equipment either tends to be outrageously expensive because honestly, it's well made and it's going to live up to the value, or you find absolute cheap junk. There doesn't really seem to be anyone serving that middle ground of budget-conscious weekend warriors like myself. But it seems like OneWind is working to fill that gap, and I'm really excited to put this tarp through its paces over the course of the next backpacking season. Now, one of the benefits of this tarp that I mentioned earlier is that it's a true 4-season tarp, allowing you to use it in the summertime with the doors folded out to where you have a nice breeze, folded in the wintertime or when you have driving wind or rains. Another thing that's nice about it, and it's something I see a lot in some of the hammock forums, is from people wanting to get into hammock camping or hammock backpacking. They're concerned with the lack of privacy. Even with the tarp, you can see in through the sides. But with a tarp like this, you simply close the doors, privacy issue solved. So I just want to end this video by saying that I don't foresee this channel ever becoming a full gear review video, but whenever I do run across a piece of gear that I'm actually using, that I'm liking and enjoying, that I think you might as well, I'm going to pass along and share it with you. If at any point I run into a piece of gear or someone is nice enough to send me something and it's not good, and it doesn't live up to my standards, I just won't do a video on it. So I just wanted to put that out there. But with this one, I recommend it. If you're interested in this hammock, I'll provide a link below. So if you're interested in these kind of videos, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot for the growth of this channel, and it means a lot to me personally. I have some really fun camping trips coming up, and I'm also gearing up for backpacking season. So I'm looking forward to share those adventures with you. But in the meantime, stay awesome.